Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cheap Truth YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Thanks again, once again, for checking in with the Cheap Truth. So on today, after a brief hiatus, I want to talk about this Kyren Lacy situation, man. So for you guys who aren't familiar with Kyren Lacy was a wide receiver for LSU, and he was a very good prospect, very good wide receiver. He was destined to go first round, no later than the second round. In this year's draft, the 2025 NFL draft. And unfortunately, before he could get to that point, he ended up getting caught up in a legal situation where he was under investigation in Louisiana in connection with a crash that left a 78-year-old man named Herman Hall dead. He was accused of driving recklessly, speeding, and passing in a no passing zone when the motorist swerved to avoid Lacy and crashed into another vehicle. So all of this allegedly happened back in December of 2024. And unfortunately, Kyren Lacy ended up taking his own life in April of this year. I think it was in Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's just very tragic there. So what has happened is new evidence has come out. There's a video that just got released. His lawyer at the time, his lawyer vowed that he was going to keep fighting for Kyren even after his death to make sure people knew that he was innocent of all charges. And he did exactly what he said. So there's an interview that has come out. There is a video that has come out that shows that Kyren Lacy was yards and yards and yards behind this crash when it happened. And he had absolutely, positively nothing to do with it. So I'm going to play this news clip. And then, as always, we'll talk about it.
Despite Lacy's death in April, Ori hasn't stopped trying to exonerate him from allegations he caused a fatal crash in Thibodaux that took the life of 78-year-old Herman Hall.
Was a great man with a loving family.
State police charged the wide receiver with negligent homicide after they say his actions of illegally passing cars caused another car to fatally impact Hall's car as they swerved to avoid Lacy.
I've got everything. I've got every piece of evidence I have viewed. I've examined every piece of evidence.
Ori appeared on a segment on HTV with host Martin Folse to discuss what he found in the Lafourche Parish District Attorney's investigation as compared to the original state police investigation. The conclusion of the DA's report was that Lacy was not responsible for the wreck. Ori also shows surveillance video of the crash.
In the top left of the screen, you're going to see multiple cars just making their way south to Thibodaux, coming from Vacherie. At some point in time, you're going to see the collision, which we're going to know is vehicle number 2 from oncoming traffic colliding with the vehicle of Mr. Hall. You will see another vehicle come to a stop, and then you'll see Kyren Lacy come to a stop.
The video provides key insight that was previously withheld, according to Ori.
At the time of impact, he's 72.6 yards behind the vehicles at the time of impact. Keyword, behind the vehicles. That is not how this story was ever painted. Never.
But perhaps the most concerning of Ori's findings,
sir.
This interaction recorded on body cam of a state trooper getting a witness statement.
Okay, just make sure you add in there that you had to slam on your brakes, and the brakes, you had to slam on the brakes to avoid that charger, and the brakes locked up to avoid that charger.
But then you hear Gold Truck, the witness who's the Gold Truck, what he says. And he says verbatim.
I ain't scared my car, nothing. I wasn't even going for it. That lady in the back of me, she didn't know what was happening. That's how she called that wreck. She was running in the back of me. She pulled on the other side. And I didn't.
I didn't skid marked or nothing because I wasn't even going that fast. That lady in the back of me, she didn't see what's happening. That's how she caused that wreck. She was going to run into the back of me, and she pulled into the other side.
Both Ori and the district attorney's office say the trooper coerced the witness into blaming Lacy, despite that not being his recollection of events.
All right, so you guys just seen the news clip. And I will say, if you guys haven't seen the actual interview between Kyren Lacy's lawyer and the news station down there, I think that you should go watch it. I'm going to link it in the description, or I'll put it in the video somewhere. But I do think that it's a good watch. He goes into detail. He breaks down everything. He breaks down the body cam footage, the statements that the people involved made, in the accident, he goes into pretty good detail. It is a very good, informative interview. So if you haven't seen it, I think you should go watch it. And I do want to pull something from there just to kind of give you guys a little more context behind what actually happened in the situation, because I don't think that the news clip that I just showed actually kind of tells you what really happened. So basically, in the video, in the interview, the lawyer drew a picture. He drew a nice picture, and I'm gonna pull it up here. And basically what happened is, right, you got V1. I know it looks like a math problem or something, right? You got V1, V2, V3. But you got V1, vehicle 1, that's Lacy, that's Kyren Lacy. You can see here he has, north, south. So Lacy is driving southbound, right? He's in the southbound lane. And then there's a vehicle in front of him. That's the little square right there. And then there's vehicle 3, Hall. That is the deceased person. That's the man who ended up dying. So you got all of them going southbound, and then you have the gold truck, which in that video that you just seen, that was the man who the police officer was trying to get a statement from. He was the one involved. So he has the gold truck. And then there's V2. So that's vehicle 2. That is the lady who was behind the gold truck, and she was actually the one who caused the accident. So she was the one who actually collided with Mr. Hall there. So basically what happened is vehicle 2 was trailing behind the gold truck. She was basically tailgating him, and she was distracted. If you look at the video, the interview with the lawyer, she apparently made a statement. She was eating some Funyuns or something. She looks up, and all of a sudden, I guess she sees the truck, and she basically veers off to the left into the southbound lane, and that's where she hits Mr. Hall there. So that's what happened, right? So basically, it's just a case of distracted driving. Vehicle 2 hits vehicle 3. She goes left, swerves into the southbound lane, and ends up hitting this innocent man. Meanwhile, there's a vehicle behind vehicle 3. That's the square you see there. And then Kyren Lacy, you saw in the video, right? He comes way afterwards. Like he's allegedly, apparently he was like 72 yards, right? Which is like over half a football field behind this whole thing when it happens. And then he ends up kind of like navigating around the traffic, and he goes on about his way. So that's it. That's all there really is to it. But what they're trying to say is, that this gold truck, right? They're trying to get the gold truck, the black man who was in the gold truck, to say, oh, well, you had to slam on your brakes because Lacy was coming in your lane, and you had to veer off, and you had to try to avoid Kyren Lacy. So that caused kind of a chain reaction, right? So you hit the brakes, and then vehicle 2, she sees that that he was braking, and then she veers off into the southbound lane. That's what they're trying to get the guy to say in that video. But you can clearly see that that's not what happened. You can clearly see that he feels very uncomfortable. He's like, that's not what happened. No, she was all up on me, and she's the one who caused the accident. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say anything about Kyren Lacy coming head on toward him, or him seeing him in the distance, or anything like that, trying to avoid the charger. He didn't say anything like that. So that's what the police is trying to do. They're trying to get him to say that. But really all this is, man, this is just a bunch of BS. And this is just a classic case of the police having way too much power, forging these fucking police reports, trying to pressure people, frame people. They tried to frame this man. That's basically what happened. They tried to frame Kyren Lacy to make it seem like he was, when they reported this story, they made it seem like Kyren Lacy was this young, black athlete who didn't care about anything but himself, right? He has a charger with his NIL money, and he's swerving in and out of lanes, listening to NBA Youngboy, right? And he was just going on about his business and swerving in and out of lanes and, being all reckless, and then caused this crash where somebody died. That is the story that they were basically reporting. That's the narrative that they put out. But come to find out, all this was just the police being corrupt. Just being corrupt, man. If you look at that video, I'm telling y'all, man, it is a very good watch. and you look at those statements and how the statements from the witnesses and the people involved differ from what was on the police report. Basically what this is police just making up some shit. That's really what happened. They really just making up some shit. You know what I'm saying? So they made that whole thing up and ruined this young man's life. Okay, ruined his livelihood, ruined his future. He was destined to be a top draft pick in the NFL draft. He was destined to be a great wide receiver in the NFL. You know, like at least get a shot at it, at least get a shot at proving himself. But he didn't even get that. Like, bro, it is just some evil people in this world, man. I'm telling y'all, man, them police officers, bro, them policemen down there, it's corrupt cops everywhere. And it's something that I've always complained about on this channel. You can go back and look at previous videos. I got a video, like one of the first videos I put out, like a guy in, I think it was somewhere near Nashville, somewhere in Tennessee. He literally was giving people DUIs who were sober, right? He 3 people, okay, same officer. He ended up giving 3 DUIs to people who, come to find out, were sober. I'm telling y'all, bro, they will do this type of shit, man. They will do this type of stuff to people and get away with it, and just flat out get away with it. And that doesn't make any sense, man. You know, you playing with people's livelihoods here, bro. Like they ruined this guy's life. He ended up committing suicide, and not because he thought that he was guilty or he knew that he was guilty. We clearly see that he wasn't guilty, right? But I gotta imagine that, man, all of this shit weighed heavily on his mental. He had his whole life in front of him, man. His whole life was snatched from him in an instant based on a lie. Could y'all imagine your life being, you have $1 million, right? At least sitting right in front of you. Okay. I don't know what his background is. I don't know where he comes from necessarily. I don't know whether he comes from, you know, poverty. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I gotta imagine that whatever position he was about to be put in is better than the position that he's ever been in. Okay. By making it to the league and getting an opportunity to make a whole lot of money. Could you imagine having all that in front of you, bro, and it just being taken away from you based on a lie? Something you know you didn't do. And everybody is dragging you. All the news outlets are dragging you. All the people on the internet are dragging you behind a lie. They trying to lock you up for a very long time behind a lie. I don't know how I'd react to that, bro. But I gotta imagine that that's pretty demoralizing, because they say it's innocent until proven guilty, but a lot of the times it's guilty until proven innocent. And the NFL even proved that, right? They say, well, we ain't touching that, right? We ain't touching that. Screw that. Yeah, you invited. I mean, even just inviting them to the combine. I mean, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, we not even finna invite you to the combine anymore. Nope, screw that. We just gonna assume that you're guilty. We not even gonna take a chance with this. We're going to assume that you're guilty. And you have to prove to us that you're innocent before we, let you in. Like, man, it's a bunch of bullshit, man. I don't know what to say, bro. Like, man, these police officers, bro. I mean, man, they just, bro, it's just some evil ass people in this world. And then you got the woman, right? Vehicle 2 in that diagram that I showed you, the one that actually swerved onto the southbound lane. Her ass could have said something. Her ass could have been like, man, hey, what y'all doing? Like, this is my fault right here. See her ass eating some Funyuns. And she distracted driving. All that is, man, look, this ain't that damn hard. This was a case of distracted driving. She tried not to run into the back of the vehicle that was in front of her, and she swerved into incoming traffic and killed that man. That's what happened. Her ass didn't want to say nothing. Her ass didn't say anything. She could have easily came to the forefront and just been like, man, look here, it's my fault. It's my fault, right? I was distracted. I'm the one that did this. I didn't see a charger. Anything. Bruh, it's just like, come on, man. Like, have a heart here. And then I'm gonna leave you guys with this, and then I'll be done. But if that wasn't enough, if all the evidence that we just talked about and that the video clips and all this that just came out, if that wasn't enough, this is why the police get the shit that they get. This is why they get the hatred that they get. This is why, okay? I'm about to read y'all a statement. So this is a statement from the Louisiana State Police. It says right here, investigative findings revealed that Mr. Lacy's reckless driving while approaching oncoming traffic led to the events of the crash. The findings were presented to the 17th Judicial District Court, which approved an arrest warrant based on the evidence collected. As with all investigations leading to arrests, the subjects of the investigation are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, the statement reads. No one disputes that he was behind the crash scene. Read that again. No one disputes that he was behind the crash scene. His swerving, passing cars, and reckless operation caused a series of crash events. So what the entire hell are they even talking about? Because the video that I just watched, that you guys just watched, showed that he didn't have anything to do with that crash. He was damn near 100 yards away from the crash when it happened. So how did his swerving, passing cars, and reckless operation, how did that cause the series of crash events? But see, this is the thing right here, man. They can't admit when they're wrong. They can't admit when they're wrong. If you guys remember, when was it, like I don't know, probably like 2-3 months ago, I think it was in Florida somewhere, man, either Jacksonville. I know I did a video on it, where the black man got punched inside of his, I think he got punched inside of his vehicle. They broke his glass and they punched him inside of his vehicle, right? And so I guess the sheriff or whoever came out and defended the police officer, saying that it wasn't a sucker punch and all that shit, even though clearly the video showed otherwise. So for some reason, they have a hard time admitting when they're wrong. And I hate that Kyren Lacy lost his life. I hate that the 78-year-old man lost his life behind this. Man, it's just a tragic situation. And his lawyer actually mentioned in the video, he's like, man, I just wish he could have held on a little bit longer. Just wish he wouldn't have, committed suicide and just would have waited it out. Because when this case went to the grand jury, when it was about to go to the grand jury, it would not have gone to trial. He's for sure, like, this wouldn't have gone to trial at all. This would have gotten nixed instantly. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate, bro. But, yeah, condolences to Kyren Lacy's family. Condolences to Mr. Hall and his family, the 78-year-old man who lost his life in the collision. Just condolences to their families, and I hope that they get the justice that they deserve. I hope that Kyren Lacy gets the justice that he deserves, his family deserves. And I saw on Twitter somebody said, man, I hope they bankrupt the entire state of Louisiana behind this. And I agree with that. I hope that they get a big ass settlement amount and they get a big ass payday behind this. As far as I'm concerned, ain't a number that could be written down on paper big enough. So yeah, man, you guys let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this story. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop a like on this video before you leave. And also drop a comment down in the comment section below, man. So I will talk to you guys next time. And as always, count your blessings, not your problems. I'm out. Peace.